All right, welcome to another episode of NFT news. There's some cool things, some scary things, because the price or the number of sales for NFTs have gone low. But we'll get into that in a second. First, we're going to talk about Ricky Mantle and this baseball card NFT. We're going to talk about are NFTs done? Is it a bubble? Is it bursting? We're going to talk about Kate Perry, about her new NFT launch, even though she's done one already. She's going to do another one on, I think the platform is called Theta. It's a different blockchain. And let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, I think a lot of people before trading NFTs, flipping them, have been trading, comics, VHS tapes, believe it or not, cards, baseball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever it is. But I think a lot of people they got this gravitas of, or I guess deployment or knowledge in trading with cards, right, on eBay. And the reason why I bring this up is because one of the monumental card games or cards in the realm of eBay and baseball have been selling for a lot of money, but now there's an NFT in the back of Ricky Mantle that has been sold for $471,000 in an OpenSea auction. So the NFT is an iteration, unquote, of the coveted 1952 baseball card, and it racked up a bidding war in the sales final hour, making it one of the priciest sports NFTs ever sold. Now, to give you some context, let's go down an article, and we've seen some sport cards NFTs been sold for $230,000, $210,000, and these are Top Shot and NBA Top Shot highest sales for limited edition LeBron James collectibles. Right, that's pretty darn high. But when it comes down to the actual physical cards, not the NFT, but the physical cards, it ranges for the Ricky Mantle ones between $30,000 and $250,000, depending on their graded condition. Now that's a lot of money, right? But now when we talk about the NFT, this one more specifically was sold for $471,000. The auction closed a couple days ago, last Friday, and the first edition of the company's top timeless series, an NFT of the storied 1952 baseball card of New York Yankees slugger Mickey Mantle, again sold for 175 ETH, 175 ETH for $471,000, and that really put up a bidding war. And there's actually some utility behind its NFT, which I love, and we'll get into in a second. Um, So the utility here is that the MIC, the collectible, is officially licensed by MLB and sold in cooperation with the Mantle estate. And the utility is the winning bidder also being granted a 30-minute interview with Mickey Mantle's two sons, Danny and David Mantle. So that's kind of cool. You're kind of being part of history and talking to the person of this legendary stature in baseball. I'm not a baseball guy at all, but I think it's a pretty big deal. It is a pretty big deal for, especially for baseball fans, fanatics, uh, and just NFT collectors or collectors in general, right? So it's a huge thing. And to give you some context, when you go on eBay, I already provided the average sales price of these cards, depending on the grade. Again, between $30,000 and $250,000. But when you go on eBay, these things are being sold like every day. I just literally typed up on Google Mickey Mantle tops. Um, there's ones being sold for, as low as $23. Ones that are being sold for $1,602. That one was a PSA 10, a 1959 Topps Mickey Mantle number 10 PSA, or PSA 5 rather. One sold for $280, $1, and different Mickey Mantle collections. So that's pretty darn cool, and it's an historic thing. I think when things have an historic value, the price of those usually go up over time, right? So that's really fascinating. Okay, now let's talk about the scary thing that no one wants to talk about, but it's a reality. And I've been saying this. A lot of people have been saying this for a while. And NFTs is a bubble. And I forgot who said it, but if people are talking about the floor price constantly, then that's a problem. If they're not talking about the utility, the I guess the brand aspect, the projects, but more about the floor price. And that's a problem, I think. And I'm pretty sure you've seen that so many times. If you go on Discord and you follow like dozens of NFT projects, you're going to see that I want to say, 70, 80% of the time, that's what the bulk conversation is all about. And so let's kind of dive into some numbers, and I'll show you a diagram later. But, and we're not saying that because of this, there's an NFT bubble, there's things going around geopolitically and whatnot that can factor into why these NFT sales are going down. But essentially, is what's happening. The average sales price of an NFT is now below $2,000 according to market tracker non fungible. That's down from over $6,800 in January. Cumulative daily sales have been dropped from 160 million in January to 26 million on Thursday. That's a huge drop. Now, primary sales on NFTs has also dipped noticeably from nearly 26,000 per day at the beginning of the year to less than 3,200 on Thursday. Secondary market sales are down from its January peak of 38,000 per day to just over 7,900. Okay, so we talked about the numbers. Now let's kind of get a better visual. Let's get a better visual on this joint right here. So we're on non-fungible, and we are seeing here in the total number of sales made during the period of time selected. I'm looking at the monthly from March 8th, 2001 to March 5th of 2022. And we're seeing a huge rally that really kind of started in, we can say May of 21. And then in July 1st, it really popped off to the point where on September 2nd, there were, what is it, if I'm reading this correctly, 5.2 million sales. That's a lot. And then it peaked there. It peaked, and then it dropped dramatically down to like a million sales. And then there's like a small little spike on November 16th. And then again, kind of around the time of New Year, Christmas, the holidays, maybe a lot of people were buying NFTs for their loved ones or friends. But there's another major spike where it went from a little over 400,000 daily sales up to 2 million, 2.3 million sales in NFTs, and now it's been dropping. But over the course of the year, it's been going down pretty bad in number of sales. Now, I've never put these two things together in terms of the numbers, but I have some sort of intuitive feeling that things aren't going so well in the whole market because these blue chip NFTs, I like to call them, are not performing. And again, this whole space is volatile. There's probably a lot more numbers to back this up, but it was just a gut feeling that I personally had. So let's kind of dive into that for a second. So when we look about the top NFTs, we see Cool Cat NFTs. This was literally at like 10, 11 Ethereum for the floor price, and this declined dramatically. Right now, the floor price for Cool Cat's NFT is 7.14 Ethereum, and this has, dramatically dropped. So by the end of January, going into February, the average sales price was 17.6 Ethereum, and then from there, it's just been on the decline. So we can see that the floor price really went down. It was sitting around 10, 11, and this is definitely a blue chip NFT in Ethereum Trust. Um, but hey, again, things are very volatile. This thing is going to be in the space for a very long time. But are these signs of a bubble or not? Um, Again, Deadfellas, this one really surprised me. In the beginning of the year, you know, the beginning of the year, this thing really popped off from like zero point 0.9 Ethereum to 5 Ethereum. But in the past couple of weeks, it's really been going down to 2.2 Ethereum, which I'm very surprised. I thought I was going to be staying at, 3 or 4. But hey, things are very volatile in this space. So this is another blue chip NFT that has been on the decline. Look at this chart right here. And again, it's very short term. We don't really know exactly. We gotta maybe extrapolate as time goes on, but we just don't know. But again, maybe these are signs. And then one more is Alien Friends. I remember this project being a whole frenzy. Everyone was being a part of it. Everyone was talking about it. There was a whole bunch of hype. And this thing maybe grew way too fast. It peaked at, the average sales price of 3.7 Ethereum. and then has been going down all the way down to 1.5 Ethereum. And I think during this time when it was going up and down, there might have been a collaboration between the meta card for um, the Nelk Boys or Full Send, and they also had a version 2 being dropped, right? Or maybe that was the collaboration for Full Send. But essentially, these blue chip NFTs, again, we got Cool Cats, we got Dead Friends, we got Alien Friends. These are top 100 projects that are going down in terms of their average or their floor price, right? So it's kind of scary times, but if you truly believe in the project, then you shouldn't be worried about it, right? And again, is it part of the bubble? Probably not, but a lot of things are going on around the world. So, for example, you know, it can be the cause of inflation. It can be due to the Ukrainian-Russian war going on right now. It can be going due to the stock prices and whatnot. Who knows? There can be wealth. So we just don't know. There's a whole factor of things. But I just want to bring this up to the table because the reality is, I do believe, looking at this at a bigger picture, there is a bubble. There's too many people buying these NFTs. Um, Little of them have very little utility, and again, just going on Discord, everyone's talking about the floor price and not talking about the project itself for the most part, from my perspective. Okay, now let's talk about movies. I love watching movies, but how cool would it be if the NFT project that you're investing in, or just any project on the NFT, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana blockchain, ends up being in a movie, a Hollywood movie, a Netflix movie? I don't know, but we do know for a fact that there are some major NFT projects being turned into movies. So, for example, we're seeing World of Woman, we're seeing Aku, which I never really heard of, to be honest. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Aku. We're seeing Huxley, and then we're seeing CryptoPunks and Meebits potentially being in movies. But let's talk about World of Woman for a second. This project has popped off in the last year. I mean, it was just launched a year ago, but well, actually, maybe less than a year. But this is going down. So, amid last year's wild NFT market boom, which generated $25 billion in trading volume for these hot ownership authenticating tokens, we saw successful NFT projects ink deals to bring their characters and stories to the big screen, and the announcements keep coming. Again, I think right now NFTs, they do have that smart contract capability, which is the utility depending on how you use it. But right now, it's all about IP building. And World of Women and CryptoPunks have major IP. So for World of Women, actress Reese Witherspoon has gone into NFTs in a big way, and now she's aiming to turn the leading woman-led and woman-centric project into an entertainment juggernaut. Last month, Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine production studio announced plans to create movies and TV series based on Yam Karkai's World of Woman NFT project. Interesting. In January, World of Woman signed with veteran music industry exec Guy Osheri to represent it with such media and product deals. Witherspoon said that World of Woman NFT holders will have a say in creation of projects based on the profile picture collection. So that's cool. As you as an NFT holder, not only potentially get to see your own NFT in a project in a movie, but you have a say in it too. So that's amazing. That really is amazing. This project is going places, and if it's getting, you know, backed by people like Reese Witherspoon or being backed by the Hollywood movie industry, the music industry, then something is going right for this project. Trust. Now, what about CryptoPunks? Um, there's been talks about it. Nothing is confirmed yet. This again has major IP. This is arguably the NFT that everyone wants to have in their collectibles, and there's talks about it being in films, TV, video games, and beyond. Right. So in August 2021, United Talent Agency (UTA) announced that it signed the Larva Labs, creators of CryptoPunks, Meebits, and Autoglyphs, to help take its IP into Hollywood. That is massive. These things, again, are going into the mainstream. And so, yes, we talk about how maybe things are going bad for the NFT market right now in terms of sales and trade volume. But if you look at the bigger picture of the whole space, it's only going to go up, right? Now, it really does depend on which NFTs you're buying, again, but in terms of the bigger picture, NFTs is here to stay, and we're seeing it mainstream. This is just another example, right? And to give you another example of how NFTs are going into the mainstream, we're seeing so many celebrities, so many athletes getting into the NFT culture, right? Some of them are making a quick bag, others are, dropping albums with them, others are creating their own metaverses, Snoop Dogg, and others are doing philanthropy, charity work. You've seen Steph Curry, you've seen Shaquille O'Neal do this. There's a lot of utility behind it. And now we're seeing Katy Perry to launch the Witness Dice NFT collection following sold out first drop. And again, I just want to share this because it goes to show how mainstream NFTs really is becoming. And it's not totally mainstream, but it's becoming to the point where everyone is going to get one of these things at some point in their life, right? So even though Katy Perry has already launched an NFT, she's going to be releasing a second collection on the Theta network that will look back to her 2017-2018 Witness tour. The drop will be placed actually today, which is the 4th of March, depending on when you're hearing this. And this second collection will follow the Roar package, which sold out in a record 95 minutes, making it one of the most successful NFT drops on Theta Drop. Theta Drop, Theta Drop, Theta Network's low cost and green NFT marketplace. So I get to the different marketplace apart from OpenSea, apart from Wearable. You can say like Solana, Cardano, but it's a different marketplace, so you can get some NFTs from there. The collection raised $1.2 million in primary sales and $860,000 in secondary sales, with over 6,500 unique buyers taking part. More Katy Perry NFTs drops will follow over the course of 2022. So that's very exciting, and it's kind of cool to see that OpenSea, that marketplace, isn't just winning. Coinbase is creating their own marketplace. You have Vivi, you have Cardano, you have Solana. So there's not just more than one marketplace that's, I guess, essentially monopolizing everything, even though OpenSea does have the majority of the share. Um, but it's kind of cool to see, like, hey, there's actually other options out there too. So that's really cool. And yeah, that pretty much concludes the end of the episode. Hopefully, I did not scare you. I mean, it certainly scares me seeing these numbers and knowing for a fact that this is going to be a bubble. But if you invest in the right ones, or if you know what you're doing, not just investing blindly unless you have it like that, then you'll be fine. Long term thinking and getting into the right projects is potentially a good way to go about it. Again, none of this is investing advice, but just beware that the NFT number of sales is declining. It can be due to a number of things, but I do believe, and a lot of people have been saying this, that there is an NFT bubble, brewing. It's coming around the corner, and you can see it in the pudding. I think with the people talking on Discord, there's the number of sheer trading volume on worthless NFTs and rug pulls and all that stuff. So just please be careful, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, take care.